Hytale is dead. For those who don't know, Hytale was this voxel Minecraft type survival game, or at least it was meant to be. Back in around 2019 or something like that, a trailer released and everyone got hyped for it. And the basic history is that the devs realized how much hype there was and they ended up trying to rebuild the entire game from scratch on a new engine or something like that in order to befit the standards they believe that the hype deserved. Now, I'm just gonna say this before I kind of get to the rest of the history. I'm not a fan of like the hater behavior. Like, yeah, it wasn't completely impossible for this to happen. The signs were there, kind of like the cyberpunk signs, and I'll get to that afterwards. But at the same time, it wasn't like certain. It was kind of like calling a coin flip always heads kind of thing. If you're, I don't know, that's how I see this whole situation. It's sad, but I mean, it happened, and what can we do about it? Anyways, with the rest of the history, so at some point after the whole rewrite thing, their developer vlogs and all the things, a community formed. Now, this game did have its own identity besides being Minecraft 2. There were channels that analyzed the designs and implied lore and mentions and all that, and clearly the team behind Hytale did give a crap. They did care about their creation. There were some details there, some cool implications, and honestly, it was understandable why people would kind of jump this train at this point and stick on it for a while. I know I did, and even though I didn't really pay attention to it much in the latter years post 2023, it wasn't because I lost faith, but because I was paying attention to other things at the time. But yeah, at some point they got, I'm not sure, it was like either bought or backed up by Riot. I'm not quite sure about the phrasing, to be honest. And it was a bit controversial, but with that, they kind of did yet another rewrite, I believe, or they were starting to rewrite some of the more the core aspects of the game, like the biomes. They kind of changed their whole approach to it, I believe. And yeah, this constant rewriting and for the sake of perfection inevitably resulted in the cancellation because they were taking too long. Apparently, there was something with the deadlines. I haven't checked the post yet, to be honest. I haven't exactly checked out the Quebec Corner video in its entirety yet because I'm still digesting the fact that this is cancelled. But yeah, it seems like whether you blame the dev team or Riot for its cancellation, it's not that surprising. Whereas because the dev team were too perfectionist or were too focused on trying to make it perfect when that was impossible, or not impossible necessarily, but I mean, yeah, impossible because hype can only go up. It's in the imagination, and living up to that is difficult and perhaps impossible if you're constantly like rewriting everything or constantly building when you haven't released the whole product. It's kind of like the how writers kind of constantly world build but kind of forget there to make a main story, I guess. Or if you like could blame like Riot for like kind of like either axing the project suddenly or getting tired of them or something. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. That's not my area to speak. I'm just mentioning that because it's a possibility. Also, this video is unscripted, so I apologize. And well, I guess no longer in advance because we're already halfway ish throughout what I wanted to say here. But yeah, I apologize nonetheless for any of my pauses, long pauses, or kind of things I do in the middle. Now, think about franchise killers, especially media that's seen as a franchise killer, or guess specifically games, is that it's kind of a weird thing when in the public eye because, like, in the Brawl game from a while ago, I forget what exactly it was called, but there was like a brawler game. I think it was a Nickelodeon one, and the way people were about it, like, it was okay. It wasn't like super good, but the way people were about it is like in its kind of simpler state. People were like on like seeing the Twitch views and were like, you guys see this? They're barely raking in a quarter of the views that Super Smash Brothers Ultimate has, or I guess any Smash game for that matter. Wow, these guys suck. And then you get other situations like Cyberpunk, which is like they tried to do like a lot of things, and when they released it, kind of came out a mess. It's not really the same thing. I'm sorry, I kind of messed up that point, but I do understand where the public pressure comes from because in the eyes of the public, if you're a franchise killer, you have to have either everything on the table, or you're just a rip off, a cheapo, and just not worth it and all that. So it's not like the pressure to be better than they were capable of, not better than they're capable of being, but just better than they could reasonably make and release. I guess I'm not sure how to phrase it, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. I'm sure you understand. But yeah, it's unfortunate it's come to this. I would like to say, like maybe do a hashtag release Hytale anyways, or hashtag release Hytale. But I'm pretty sure these kind of decisions can't just be rectified like that, especially when it comes to things that aren't indie. Because I'm pretty sure that doesn't count as indie once you're backed up by like a big company. Yeah, that by definition that's not indie at all. So I'm pretty sure nothing can be done about this. I'm not even sure if like yeah, probably there's probably not gonna be any like open source or anything like that. So I guess the only thing I could suggest is there is released music for the game. You should probably go and download it right now before the shitstorm causes the whoever runs the channel, whoever runs everything Hytale related to, just delete it. And who knows, maybe they'll just delete it anyways because the project is done or no longer possible or something. Which is what I'm gonna get to do, even though I was planning to do something else tonight. And oh yeah, uh, I refuse to play vintage. Apologize. I refuse to play Vintage Story. Why, you ask? I mean, it looks cool, but like the mods there don't seem that wacky, and I'm just not a fan of the character style. I just look at the customization. Yeah, I just don't really dig it so much. But that's just a me thing, to be honest. Oh, and also have Terraria. I have yet to go past silver level, and I have been doing that for the past like 3 times I tried to like play it, whether it be recorded or on my own time. But yeah, that's about all I really have to say about this. So yeah, thank you for listening and enduring this unscripted audio, this unscripted Starbolt Talks video, and I'll be seeing you guys in the future. Goodbye.